Most people using Sora 2 are still getting okay results, but when you see those hyper-realistic cinematic clips floating around on social media, the ones that look like real life, those were not made with luck. Sora 2 is wild technology, but at the end of the day, it's not magic, it's just a tool. And like with any tool, it only performs as well as the person using it. And so in this video, I'm gonna reveal to you 5 tricks that you can start using today that'll instantly make your Sora 2 videos look more realistic and feel more cinematic, even if you've only just started using it. All right, trick number 1 is mastering the shot language. And this one is one that almost nobody is doing. Most people, when they're writing a prompt, they tell Sora what's happening in the scene. And so they'll say something like a woman walking through a city at night. And you might get lucky and get good results, and sometimes you can get great results with that. But if you want to almost guarantee that you'll get good results every single time, then you should describe your shot within the prompt like a real movie director. And so say something like wide establishing shot of a woman walking through rainy Tokyo streets at night, neon reflections on wet pavement, shot on a 35mm lens, shallow depth of field, slow tracking shot from behind. And that one prompt alone gives Sora everything it needs: the framing, the lens type, the depth, even how the camera moves. It's not just describing the scene anymore, it's literally directing it, okay? And this works for any subject. Let's say that you were doing a car scene, for example. Instead of typing in a black sports car driving through a mountain road, try typing something like low angle tracking shot of a black sports car driving through a misty mountain pass at dawn, shot on an 85mm lens, compressed background, camera parallel with the car, fog drifting across the road. And between those 2 shots, you be the judge of which one you think looks better. But that's what separates an average prompt from one that looks like real life. So whenever you write your next prompt, I want you to start thinking like a cinematographer, right? Ask yourself, what kind of shot is this? Is it a wide shot, a close-up, a handheld, a tracking shot? Because the more clearly you can describe the lens and the motion and the mood, the better Sora understands what you're actually trying to create. Next up, trick number 2 is to control the lighting. And honestly, this is where most people go wrong, because Sora doesn't just see your scene, it interprets how the light behaves within it. And the light is everything when it comes to making it feel real. And so instead of saying something like a man sitting in a dim room, you instead want to describe where the light is coming from within the room and how it makes the scene feel. And so try something like a man sitting in a dimly lit room, soft light coming from a window on the left, warm tone, slight haze in the air. That right there is an entirely different image. It tells Sora where to put the light, what temperature the light should be, and how it interacts with the space. Think of it this way, okay? Light is what creates emotion. Every great movie scene uses lighting to guide how we feel, and Sora works the exact same way. If you want something moody and dramatic, then use phrases like low-key lighting, or cinematic backlight, or contrast between light and shadow. For something softer and more nostalgic feeling, use phrases within your prompt like golden hour, or soft overcast light, or warm ambient glow. You can also add small details that make the scene feel more alive. And so things like dust particles floating in the air, or light beams cutting through blinds. Those small touches will give your scene texture, and Sora will pick up on that realism automatically and apply it to your scene. Also, don't be afraid to get as specific as you possibly can, right? Thinking that you might overwhelm the AI with too much text. It's not true. Trick number 3 is to layer emotion into the scene. And this trick is one that almost nobody talks about. And it's the one secret to making your videos feel more human. Because Sora doesn't just understand visuals, it actually understands emotion. And so the emotion behind your words within the prompt changes everything. The lighting, the pacing, even the camera movement, okay? And so here's an example of that. Let's say that you write a prompt that says a woman sitting alone in a diner at night. That's fine, right? You'll get a clear, neutral scene that that might look okay, or it might look pretty good if you get lucky, but what happens when you just add a little bit of emotion into that prompt? And so a woman sitting alone in a diner at night, feeling distant and lost in thought. That one phrase alone, feeling distant and lost in thought, tells Sora how to interpret the entire scene. Suddenly, the light becomes softer, the colors get cooler, the emotion slows down, it feels like something real. And you can use this with any emotion you want, right? And so words like lonely or nostalgic, tense, hopeful, peaceful, cinematic, warm. All of those change the mood of your scene instantly. Here's another quick example of this. A child running through a field of flowers. Nice, but kind of generic, right? And you might get lucky and Sora might create a really good scene for you. But watch what happens when we add some emotion. And so a child running through a field of flowers filled with wonder and freedom under the summer sun. And just look at the difference between these two scenes, and you be the judge of which one you think looks better. The beauty of Sora, and the reason it's so powerful, is that it's not just rendering random pixels, right? When you write a prompt, it can interpret the meaning of that prompt and generate the meaning into something real. And so when you describe how the scene should feel, Sora will start to build that emotional tone into every frame. So next time you write a prompt, don't just describe what's happening, describe the energy of the moment you are trying to create. All right, this next trick is a big one. Trick number 4, add imperfections. AI can have a very specific look to it, right? You know the look I'm talking about, where everything is technically perfect, but it just feels off. It's too clean, it's too smooth, it's too AI. And the fix for that is actually very simple. You need to blend in realism into your prompt, okay? And so here's exactly what I mean. When you tell Sora to create something realistic, if that's the keyword that you're using within your prompt, it oftentimes overdoes the realism. The lighting is perfect, the focus is perfect, every pixel is sharp. But the problem with that is real life is not perfect, especially when you're watching it on a screen and when you're watching something that was filmed or recorded by a human. And so instead of chasing perfect realism, start adding small imperfections into your prompt that will make your scene feel more human. And so try adding phrases like handheld camera movement or slight film grain or soft focus around the edges. Those details add just enough texture to trick the human eye into believing that it's real footage. And if you want to go a step further, mix in some style direction. And so say things like shot on Kodak film, or vintage color palette, or subtle chromatic aberration. These are the exact cues that cinematographers use to create certain tones within whatever they're filming. And Sora picks up on those things beautifully. You're not trying to make something flawless, you're trying to make it believable. Because the truth is, the best Sora 2 clips do not look perfect. They look like they were filmed by a human who was holding a camera, not generated by some machine. So don't be afraid to add a little bit of grit, a little bit of movement, a little bit of imperfection into your prompt, because that right there is what's going to make your videos feel realistic, right? Now, this last trick, trick number 5, is about getting consistent, high quality results every single time you use Sora by building what I call a repeatable prompt formula. Because let's be honest, okay? Sometimes you can write a prompt that looks amazing, and the next one that you write looks completely different, even though you barely changed anything about the prompt. And the reason that's happening is because most people start from scratch every single time. But if you want more consistent results, then you should use what I call a repeatable prompt formula. So here's exactly how it works. Instead of just guessing each time you write a prompt, I want you to build a formula that you can reuse every single time. And so for example, camera, subject, setting, lighting, movement, and mood. You're basically filling in the blank for each one of these, and that is what is building your consistent prompt, okay? And so once you have that formula down, all you have to do is swap out the details. And so for example, cinematic shot of a mountain cabin during a snowstorm, soft golden hour lighting, snow drifting past the window, gentle camera dolly inward. That's your foundation. And now you can replace the setting, the weather, and even the mood and still get consistent cinematic results every single time. This right here is how people can make an entire series of Sora clips that feel like they were all filmed at the same exact time. Because having a formula keeps your tone, the framing, and the motion all in sync no matter what type of scene you are creating. But with those 5 tricks right there, that's how you go from just experimenting with Sora and getting inconsistent results to actually mastering it, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.